Good morning, everyone. Today we've got a very important feast, and it's the feast of Saints Peter and Paul. Now, why would the two of them be linked? Well, obviously, Peter, the first of the popes, the first leader of the apostles that Jesus appointed. And in the gospel, we are told, Simon, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. The authority of the church is actually granted to Peter. So that's a pretty important feast to remember. Paul was the great writer and the person who worked most actively in the New Testament, creating the New Testament, and working during the time of the establishment of the early Christian church, traveling a lot, writing to people, and certainly putting out the good news. So he was a great influence. And we ourselves also recognize that by reading so many of his letters in the New Testament. Interestingly enough, Saint Peter, in the story that we have today, Saint Peter was arrested and thrown to jail. It was one of those things where he was held captive, and then in the middle of the night, the angel came and the chains were taken off of him, and he was able to get out. So we have the origin of St. Peter in chains, or being released from that. Sadly, the reason why he was locked up is because at the time King Herod seemed to find that he wanted popularity with the Jews, and he, just to get popularity with the Jews, had James beheaded. Oh, that's a good idea. Well, James is off you go. Let's just bring in Peter and see what we can do them just to please the Jews. He was rather an interesting Roman leader. Of course, we always remind ourselves that the Jewish people were living under Roman law, so that's why we have that. Jesus says to Peter, Peter, who do you say I am? He'd asked all the what other people say. Peter, who do you say I am? And it's a good question that we need to ask of ourselves, I think, often. Deacon Mike, who do you say that I am? What is your relationship with me? Do you see me as somebody who lived 2,000 years ago? Somebody who lives today? Somebody you only meet when you go to Mass? Someone who's alive in your life? Someone who's active amongst the other people around you? It's important that we do think about these things and that we make Christ a reality in our lives. Peter says, you are the Christ, and yet he denied him. So if Peter's in that situation, where do we stand? Let's think about that today. You keep safe, and we'll see you again. God bless. Bye-bye.